Hey there, everybody. Meteorologist Bergren here. It's just after 3:30 on a Wednesday afternoon in the middle of December, about 17th of December. Hope you've had a great day out there for today. We are tracking some changes over the next 2 days, and then our look at the Christmas forecast, which is coming in for next week. And it does look like the Christmas forecast is going to be pretty warm for us here in Florida. So let me know where you're watching from. We're on YouTube, Facebook, and Fox Local. If you're having a wonderful day, let me take you outside right now. This is from Ocala, where you can see it is just very nice out there, but we do have some clouds. The temperature currently in the Ocala area is sitting at about 76 degrees. So is it the nicest day out there with the sun? No, I guess not. But I mean, it's plenty pleasant, especially compared to the rest of the country when you consider what else is going on. So 76 right now in Ocala. It feels like temps across the state are not bad, especially central South Florida. It's really, really nice. In fact, 75 in Ocala, in Florida right now, 75 in Orlando, 76 in Tampa, 77 in Miami, 79 in Fort Myers, and you see there again about 76 in Melbourne. So things are doing good out there for the 17th of December. You really can't complain much about this for today. So let me know where you're watching from. If you have a comment, we're on YouTube, Facebook, and Fox Local. We are now 1 week, if you can believe it, from Christmas Eve. Christmas Eve is 1 week from today. And it's going to be interesting, the weather on Christmas for this year. So let's go ahead and take a look nationally, see what's cooking out there. A couple of things to bring to your attention. First, we have some big-time snow and weather up in the southern parts of Canada, over towards Calgary and Banff, Jasper, sneaking back into Duluth, Minnesota. This is a low that's going to swing like that, so it's not coming anywhere near us. We've got some rain and disturbed weather here in the upper Gulf. Now, what's going to go on here is what we call phasing of energy. There is a big phase that's going to go on. There's a low here and a low here. This one's going to go like this. This one's going to go like that, and they're going to meet about right here, and then kaboom, you're going to get a whole monster storm that forms about over the Delmarva and goes like that into Friday. And that'll drag this rain across Florida late tomorrow, and then all of this weather will go across the upper Midwest. So that's kind of what's cooking for us out there right now, and it's going to be a lot more active to our north. It does look like there'll be some decent storms maybe in North Florida tomorrow, but not really for us. Temperatures overnight, there could be some fog, especially areas like Ocala and Gainesville, 58 in the Villages, 60 in Leesburg, 67 in Melbourne, 66 in Cocoa Beach, and the highs for tomorrow, probably somewhere in the neighborhood of 80, it would appear as of right now. All right, so let's take a look at that Futurecast, tomorrow's weather today. We've got a lot to discuss in the Futurecast. Let me dial this into the Fox model for you. I hope you've had a great week so far. For those of you who have asked, I was away on a cruise. I am okay. There's nothing wrong. I'm still here. Still here at Fox 35. Just had a very thankful little trip with my parents, my sister and her nephews, or my nephews and her kids. We did a Disney Christmas cruise last week. I've never cruised before, so that was quite the experience. We were down over in this part of the Caribbean over here, and it was awesome. Not gonna lie, it was awesome. I've never cruised before, not sure if I was gonna like it. It was great. But back to reality, back to work. But that's where I was last week, was down in the Caribbean. All right, so let's take a look at the maps. Let me put the surface reflections on here. So there's that big front in the Midwest, and then notice as we go forward, we get that front slides across, and it helps to scoop up that moisture. So by this time tomorrow, we've got sideways rain here. Let me make this bigger, this being this telestrator. We've got sideways rain here up in the Midwest and the Heartland, and then some big thunderstorms on the upper Gulf over towards, let's say, parts of Georgia. And these could be strong to severe in here, but I don't think that these storms here, right here, you see there's kind of a line of storms here. Most of these will miss us to the north. They're going to track like this. Now, they may clip the Gainesville and Ocala area with a thunderstorm tomorrow night, but I don't think our area. So I'll play it forward and notice there could be a few big thunderstorms. It would not surprise me if, let's say, for instance, this storm up here has a couple of severe thunderstorm warnings with it. But again, we're here, and that storm is well to our north. So other than maybe a few showers tomorrow night, yeah, you see that? Yeah, I mean, maybe some overnight. That's it. That's really it. And I guess Friday there could be a sprinkle, but I doubt it. So zoom it out, and I'll let you see what goes on here. Big front. I mean, look at all the rain. Monster air delays Friday. Places like New York, Boston, Philly, D.C. from all this heavy rain and wind from this front. And then blinding cold and lake effect snow that'll crash in behind it. So definitely something that'll end up being a big system. And then for us, it clears on out Friday, and Saturday ends up being great. Just some passing clouds, and things were really, really nice out there. And then the next system will start to get coming in. You see it out over here in the Pacific, heading into early parts of next week. So that's kind of what we're tracking. And here's the view currently right now in Florida with the radar. I mean, there's been a few sprinkles at the beaches. I guess there could be a sprinkle through the evening, but there's really not much to speak of in that department. In terms of clouds, we do have a decent veil of clouds over the state. Let me loop this from the past 2 hours and let you see there's some mid-level clouds coming in from the east. There's some high-level clouds coming across from the west. So definitely a little bit of cloudiness. Nothing that's producing any big rain for today. Let me know if you have a question or a comment or a concern. Let me pull up some of the comments here. Today is the 17th, so hello, Michael Miu. Brooke, please. Hello, Michael. How are you? Good afternoon on YouTube. Good afternoon, Phyllis Roldan on Orlando from Facebook. Hello from Titusville, Harry Vanderkamp. How are you doing today? What are you doing on Christmas Day? Are we going to watching basketball? Your comment's long. I can't see the rest of it. William, I will be enjoying some time with some family on Christmas Day, thankfully. Hello, everybody who is tuning in on Fox Local. Appreciate all of you saying hello. If you have a comment or a question, Alice says hello. Alice is checking back. Thank you. From Winter Haven. Appreciate you saying hello there, Alice. So again, for the rest of tonight, things are pretty good. Not really seeing much there. So let's talk about the longer range. Now, I've been off for a week. I actually haven't even had a chance to really get into forecasts and graphics yet. We'll do that after the stream. But we'll do a little bit of rough model looking here. So this is the temperature anomaly from December so far. So let me pull this up here, and I'll make this in a prettier version for us on the news tonight. But this is the anomaly December so far. So green and blue is below average, and then red and orange is above average. So notice most of the eastern U.S., especially the upper Great Lakes, interior New England, has been very cold relative to average. It's been very warm out in the western U.S. And then Florida is kind of sandwiched in the middle, where central and south Florida has been warmer than average, but then the panhandle has actually been colder than average. So there's a little bit of a disparity in Florida. This is the month-to-date temperature anomaly. So in other words, how warm or cold compared to average has the temperature's been through now halfway through December. Now, I'm showing you this because this is going to flip. The areas in the east that have been cold compared to average are going to be really warm, and the areas out west are going to be really cold. It's going to do a flip and a 180 here over the next 2 weeks. And I'll show you that in the outlook going forward. So we've got two ways of looking at this, the 6 to 10 outlook and the 8 to 14 day. So here is the temperature outlook for the next 8 to 14 days. And notice, mostly see here, this is December 25th, so Christmas through New Year's Eve. I mean, it is really, really mild. Now, this will not last. I do think in January it'll flip. But if you think back, some of you may not remember this, so I'll remind you if you don't know. Back in November, there were a lot of forecasters and meteorologists and news outlets calling for epic, extreme, end of the world, biblical cold, freezing cold, all December. Well, the month is going to end extremely warm, and I think the month-to-date temperatures in many places will end up being warmer than average across the country. So my point of bringing that up is that if you're not aware, there was a huge expectation, and it was kind of going viral at some of the national weather news outlets about how freezing December was looking. Well, it's not going to really end up like that. So my point of bringing this up is to remember to take long-range forecasts for what they are with a grain of salt. And I'm saying long-range forecasts meaning out more than a month. This is just out through the end of December, 8 to 14 days. But these are generally always pretty good. So the point is, the rest of the month after this Friday is going to be really pretty mild, where most of the eastern U.S. so far has been surprisingly below average. Now, this is going to be the idea for the precip. So this is over the next 6 to 10 days. You see here, basically through just after Christmas, and still dry compared to average in Florida and above out in the west. So if you move this around, you see much of Florida in the U.S. below average. That is what happens in La Nina winter. So it's going to stay pretty dry in Florida for the next little while. So let's talk about the long-range outlook going into Christmas. So here are the temperatures. Let me pull this up. So here are the temperatures heading into Christmas. And notice, we're about near 80. You see these are the highs, all the big numbers above the yellow boxes, upper 70s to near 80s. So is it really that cold? No, not really. Not really for Florida standards over the next couple of weeks. So something else that is starting too is winter, which is coming in next week. And it's not feeling like winter. And for more on that and some other weather that's going on out in the west, I want to bring in my colleague and meteorologist Brooks Garner for more on that. So I'm going to toss things now to Brooks to hear more on that.
Well, you've probably heard us talking about how it's wintertime. In the weather world, meteorology, the meteorological start of winter is December 1st, encompassing the 3 most likely months in the northern hemisphere, December, January, February, that we see winter weather. But astronomically, in the official start of winter that you'd see on your calendar, well, that's coming up on Sunday. It's called the winter solstice. So what's the difference? What is all this meteorological versus astronomical winter? Well, it's all about the angle. So here's the sun, and during the winter solstice, the northern hemisphere is tilted away from the sun at more than 23 degrees. Now, that's a lot. That's, up and down is a noticeable thing, right here. And so we're tilted a pretty good amount. And in the sense of the world, that means that not only are we farther away from the sun, but we're also getting less hours of light, fewer hours of light. And so there's less available time to warm things up with those direct solar rays. And so that's what winter is, right? We have shorter days, longer nights, it gets colder, and you get the snow, and you get the snowmen, and you get the blizzards, and you get all the travel woes. But here in Florida, you get the comfortable weather. It's all about the Earth's axis being tilted away from the sun. And this solstice occurs at 10:03 a.m. on December 21st, which is Sunday. After that, the Earth starts tilting back toward the sun again in the northern hemisphere, and we approach summertime, which happens in June, the summer solstice. So it's all about those solstices, and the winter one is the beginning of the season that, of course, it's coldest in the northern hemisphere. So the official start is Sunday at 10:03 a.m., shortest day of the year, and winter will last 88 days, 23 hours, and 42 minutes. But who's counting? It's about 3 months. Anyway, that said, this is where it's kind of interesting, right? Because with the tilt away from the sun, our length of days is shorter, so we have less light. And it's a noticeable thing. It's all about your angle. So during the winter solstice, the shortest day of the year, we have 10 hours, 19 minutes, and about 36 seconds of light. That's the longest night you have all year round. Now, the longest day is the summer solstice. That's in June 21st. 13 hours, 57 minutes, 41 seconds. So we're talking about this Sunday, we'll have more than 3.5 hours less light than we do during the summertime. So just think about that, right? 3.5 hours less sunshine. And when you do get the sunshine, it's at a lower angle in the sky, so it's less effective. That's why we can go skiing in the northern hemisphere in the wintertime. It's kind of an interesting thing how it all kind of comes together. And it's all about the solstices. It's all about the angle. So the winter solstice, the official start of winter, when we're tilted farthest from the sun, happens this Sunday. But if you're a fan of the warmer side of the year, starting Monday, our days will get longer. And before you know it, we'll be back to those early sunrises and later sunsets. In Florida, it doesn't mean much. Our weather is nice generally all year round, but at least we catch a break from that unrelenting humidity during the wintertime. So it's a season that a lot of folks down here really look forward to. While up north, winter is a season that a lot of folks kind of dread. All right, back to you.
Good stuff there from Brooks. Appreciate you there, Brooks, telling us more about the hours of light in the winter solstice. Don't forget the winter solstice is coming up here on Sunday. Sunday, on about the 21st, so just here in a few days, indeed. All right, so let's talk a little bit more now about the end of the year. And what I want to talk about is rain, specifically the lack of rain, because we're going to end the year with most places not seeing rain from this point of the year. So here's the latest drought monitor, which still has most of Florida in some form of drought. Now, the percent of average rain over the past month, for most places, we did have last weekend, as I remember when I was, or a little over a week and a half ago now, about a week and a half ago, we had on Sunday, it was the day before I went to my cruise, I was in Cocoa Beach. I think that was the 7th. We had a little stripe of storms come across the center part of the state like this. So that's kind of what that little green blob is there. But most of the state is still well below average in terms of rain. In fact, you see everywhere that's orange is rain that's notably below average. So we still do need rain, and it doesn't look like we're going to get much through the end of the month. In fact, I will show you the rain forecast here. Again, I will get some brand new graphics and all fancy things made for you in the news, so I just haven't had a chance to get into this yet. So I apologize there. Nothing super fancy for you right now. But here is the rain through New Year's Eve. Let's take a look at this. So here's the rain through New Year's Eve. Yeah, and notice, let me turn off the towns. Notice, I'll just cherry pick somewhere in Orange County. 0. Go up in the Panhandle, 3/4 of an inch. The point is, there's going to be some rain chances here, especially the Panhandle and areas north. But outside of a few sprinkles and maybe a few showers, this is Thursday. We're probably not going to have most places around Orlando won't see rain again this year. So through the end of the next 2 weeks. And it won't be until 2026 again until it rains. So that's definitely going to be something that we watch and we monitor going forward. But it does look like a pretty dry spell to end 2025 going into early parts of 2026. So that is the view right now. And I should remind you that it does rain here every month. We always get asked this, and I feel like this graphic tells the story, that there is a dry season in Florida. Yes, there is a wet season in Florida, but it does rain every month. It's supposed to rain every month. In fact, if you look at the averages here, in December we averaged 2.5 inches of rain. Now, that's not a lot, but it's still something, and it's an important something, because if you don't get rain in winter in Florida, what that means is a very dry and hot spring, and also a fast start to fire season. January is on average the driest month of the year, with an average of just 1.5 inches of rain. So the driest month is January, then we start slowly ticking back up towards the rainy season, which starts generally the end of May, or certainly by early June as we look ahead. So lack of rain will be a story. Christmas looks warm, back to the 80s for next week. There'll be some showers and storms, especially north of us tomorrow night. But outside of, again, maybe Ocala, Gainesville, it doesn't really look like much in that department the way it looks right now. So let me pull up some of the temperatures quick. I think I've got the national temps on here. Let me see if I can get them here. Yeah, here you go. So 75 in Orlando, and the cold is really pushed to the north. It was a really cold last couple of weeks in many parts of the country outside of Florida. But even seeing 50s now up into Virginia, parts of Nebraska, Kentucky seeing 50s. You really have to go up towards, draw a line from like Boston to Chicago to get winter chill. And it's kind of really just pushed to the north. And that's going to be a theme that we carry all the way through New Year's Eve. It looks like most places will not have snow on the ground for Christmas. Or it depends on how you define a white Christmas. I always think of it as snow that's on the ground, not snow that's... I always define it as snow that's falling, not on the ground on Christmas. But the point is, let me show you the snow totals here quickly. Take a look at some of the snow totals. And here we are through the end of the month. Now, obviously, the Mountain West will get some snow. But here's the snow through the end of the month. And I mean, maybe like, here it is through Christmas. This is through Christmas. Maybe places like upstate New York, northern New England, maybe southern New England could see a little snow event the day after Christmas. It looks like, but interior Wisconsin, Minnesota, Michigan, it's really the far northern U.S. to see some snow, and even that's not that much. So in terms of a white Christmas this year, it is looking pretty minor in that department. So I appreciate all of you watching here on Facebook, YouTube, and Fox Local. I've got some work to do, get ready for you, and get your latest forecast coming up on the News Edge at 5, 6, 8, 10, and 11 tonight, tomorrow, and again on Friday. Let me know, as always, if you have questions, comments, concerns, you can email me and shoot me a message on Facebook or on Twitter or on Instagram. Love to hear from you there. But otherwise, for today and tonight, it's a nice day and night. Temperatures are comfortable. A hair above average, but really it's right where we should be, somewhere in the low to mid 70s, and very pleasant despite there being some clouds out there for today. So have a great rest of your Wednesday. I'll see you coming up on the news starting at 5. We'll talk much more about that front coming in for tomorrow, and also the Christmas and early look at New Year's forecast tonight on Fox 35. So I'll see you then, and I'll see you back here tomorrow at 3:30.